Today, we're going to have an open discussion about three different topics and how were they seen through the novel. 1984 is a dystopic novel written by George Orwell and published in 1949. Orwell is characterized by approaching themes like awareness of social injustice, opposition to totalitarianism, and outspoken support of democratic socialism. 1984 is a very good example of this, as it approaches the criticism of totalitarian political systems and social control. Inside the novel, Winston Smith wrestles with oppression in Oceania, where the party scrutinizes human actions by the ever-watchful Big Brother. He defines this individuality by trying to express his thoughts in a diary and by approaching Julia in a relationship. These criminal deeds bring Weston into the eye of the position where they must reform the nonconformist. The first topic we're going to approach is politics. Does anyone want to take the lead? Torres?
Thank you. Okay, so when we're talking about politics, I think this is the most important topic of the novel since this is what everything revolves around. And first of all, we should see the genre that it is set on, which is critical dystopia. And what is this? Okay, so this is a portrait where it sets out a visual nightmare of what would be the future of our society if we keep going that way. This is set in order to criticize the actual present. Orwell brings out the technological advances and the totalitarianism that is set in the current society and how it will develop in our near future, and how this also is interpreted as dystopia in a governmental self-preservation. So in here, Big Brother and the government is said to always rule above everyone else, and the supremacy will keep going and will keep thriving. And they use violence to be preserved around themselves and for their people, and like all of the pros to follow their orders. So this is a political view that portrays how this supremacy and how there will always be a party that rules and that overcomes with all the power that they have. Thank you.
Yes, so as Andrea mentioned about the control of the party and being really the supremacist and over everyone and everything, I can say that Orwell says that the controlling history, which is what the party does when we can see that Winston modifies news so that they fit the storyline that the party wants to show, is actually what Orwell is saying through this, is that whoever controls history also controls truth. Because as we can see through the novel, controlling the history and the versions that people may think makes them believe these histories that they are creating and actually control their thoughts and what they think. Also, another things related to this topic of politics, which relate to what Andrea was saying, is that Orwell makes a critic to the lack of action and lack of interest in politics that we can see in regular societies, even to this day. We can see this through the pros, which, as the novel says, they are the hope. They are the ones who can change the political system, but because they don't act together, they don't care about this political system, nothing happens. And this also relates to what Andrea was saying about self-preservation of the government, because in a way, the lack of interest of the pros makes the government to be able to be still on top and still over everyone and everything.
Well, also from another perspective, we can see how the author, George Orwell, uses the main character, in this case Winston, as a form of resistance to this political government, to this totalitarianism. And we can see all this resistance theme in the personality and character of Winston, since it's the only one that is not being tackled down by this manipulation of the party.
After hearing all your ideologies about this novel, I would like to say how in our society we see this type of government. Maybe not at all, but there are different characteristics that we can get from this novel, like how the government controls different things about the people. In this case, the government is for us, and they can use it in any time they want. Also, the attitude of the pros, that they don't seem to be interested about the things that the government do with them, how it controls them. And in this case, I think there's sometimes we don't seem to speak up for the things we think that are unfair in with the things that we think that are unfair for us, and there's something that we have to do, because if we think that something is unfair, we have to speak up and say you don't have to do that. That's not good.
Well, thank you for your opinions. Now we're going to change of topic about love. Mau, will you want to take the lead, please?
Well, first of all, I think there exists a relationship between love and politics, because an act of love, which is having sexual intercourse, becomes a political act. This because not merely because the love itself, but because satisfying Winston's and Julia's desires goes against the party. And Winston says that satisfaction of desire will be the force that tears up the party to pieces.
Yes, also related to the last topic, and as you said about the party and the topic of love, I can see that the other face of the coin, you're seeing this as a rebellion, as a political act in a way, but there's also the other side that there's all the other people that are alienated to the party's ideology and actually love the party and believe everything that the party says, because as Monte said, they don't speak up, they just believe and they just are followers. They're like sheep, they follow and they do as they're told.
Well, also as Alex mentioned, well, the party has completely overruled people's mind. Like they don't have the freedom to love, since they don't have the control of their mind. Since, as we can see, the party does not allow individuals to keep records of their past, such as photos or documents. So as a result, memories are completely lost. Therefore, they cannot have the freedom to use their mind as a way of living.
Okay, so coming back to the characters, I think that the portrait of love is so secret that it becomes provocative. Both Winston and Julia have the prohibited relationship, where this brings out the wildest sides of them. I think this also can actually be interpreted as a thesis that we can get from the book, where we can say that sometimes the prohibited things are things that we desire the most. And also, this is a contemporary view of how love is seen among our society. So sex is seen as a taboo, even though it is one of the most natural things and one of the requisites for human reproduction. And also, the public display of affection is seen as tedious and tiring, so that's why it is prohibited among themselves and among the whole village. And this is because the society, that the current society living in them, they do not want love among them in their daily lives. They only want money, success, and for the day to be over and for things to just settle down instead of actually spreading emotions and stuff.
Well, thank you very much. In order to conclude our discussion, we're going to approach another topic, which is character personality inside the novel.
Well, to start with the character's personality, first of all, we can see that this personality is influenced, the personality of each character is influenced by the psychological manipulation that the party does. In this case, the party barrages its objects with psychological stimuli designed to overwhelm the mind's capacity for independent thoughts. An example of this can be the giant telescreen that is in every citizen's room. It blasts a constant stream of propaganda, and this propaganda is just designed to make the failures and shortcomings of the party appear to be triumphant successes. This means that they also monitor behavior, and the sign of Big Brother is watching you is also a way in which all the characters' personalities are completely psychologically manipulated. The party also forces individuals to suppress their sexual desires, treating sex as merely a productive duty, whose end is the creation of new party members, as Andrea mentioned in the topic before of love. Also, in addition to manipulating their minds, the party also controls the body of its subjects. This means not only psychological manipulation, but we have also physical manipulation. This is that a person's own nervous system becomes keyed on by his own greatest enemy. which is that he doesn't have control of his own mind, as I before mentioned. Also, the party forces its members to undergo mass morning exercise called the physical jerks, and then return again to work long hours of periods. And just by ending my comment, I just want to say that by conditioning the minds of their victims with physical torture, the party is able to control the total reality.
Also, I would like to say something about Julia's character in the novel. Julia, who is the character who Winston thinks that she hates the party at the same as him, and also he thinks that she wants to rebel against the party through little actions, and I think this is interesting. These little actions that eat chocolate or intercourse for pleasure, and also I think it's interesting how we can not speak up, but we can rebel against the government with these little things.
Something I would like to stress about in this next section, which is characters, is regarding Winston and his character development. And coming back to what Téllez said about psychological manipulation and physical manipulation, well, Winston starts to develop breaking this manipulation. First of all, he starts writing in his notebook. Then he starts to satisfy all their desires, which involve Julia and his sexual relationship.
Yes, you were mentioning about Julia's and Winston's relationship. We can see this love at the start of the novel and during it. We can see another thing that is presented in it is that in difficult times, self-preservation is the thing that matters the most. We can see that even though, as we mentioned, they love each other and they have this relationship which is special because it's a political act and whatever you want to say. We can say that whenever they are threatened and they could lose everything, they choose to treason each other so that they can self-preserve, and it's something really important about the characters because it's like a human condition. We as humans try to save ourselves before we can save anybody else.
Yeah, so actually I just wanted to make a brief comment about how also we can see that character development is not achieved for all of the characters. There are some that go against the party, that go against the rules, and they actually terminate their lives. And even if it's for love, even if it's for political views, even if it's for freedom of expression, these characters could not actually develop themselves and throughout this story, and this actually shows another side regarding politics and regarding personal development, about how not everyone will agree with what you're thinking and how this could actually imply some violence and could be used against you.
Very good. Thank you for all your comments. Now, as a conclusion, I would like to add. ¿Podemos editar eso?
Sí, ahora como conclusión, bueno, yo diría que como conclusión nada más póngase que we can see that the topics of dices de que personality,
love, and character.
No, politics.
Politics. Sí, personality. Sí. Character, personality, politics, and love are a portrait of how the government can demand.
No, pues son tres cosas diferentes.
No,
Córtale una vez, ahorita grabamos a Danna sola. Ve, yo digo que digas de que, o sea, los tres.
So, in order to conclude, the three themes we talk about, politics, love, and personality, they all portray the essence of the author by showing what he wanted to transmit to the public. Politics show how the government can control a group of people. Talking about the love, we think love is free. We think that we can portray ourselves in the love we feel for other people and we can transmit that freely. However, in this book, in this novel, we see how the government can even control that. And personality shows how we are. The government, in this case, portrayed or shaped the personality of our main characters. This can tell how the government can really shape, control what we think to benefit themselves. So this is what we talk about over this open discussion. Thank you for your attention.